So in this tutorial we will start putting all these elements into an arrangement following the structure of the reference track. I've continued to add some new sounds as I've worked on the first few bars of the track, which we'll look at shortly. So from this point in the production process, I would firstly fit all the tracks onto the screen, shorten it down to a basic loop, then work from there. Like that, so we can see everything, and shorten all this down. To get rid of this, I would then listen quite carefully to the intro of my reference track to hear how it starts off, what other elements I need, and how long it goes on for until the actual track gets going. The rule of thumb for the intro of a techno track is usually 16 bars, starting off with just the drums, an atmospheric sound gradually building up into the hi-hats, the bass line and chords. This reference track was no exception. The track starts off with a lo-fi version of the kick sequence and a heavy atmospheric sound. It then introduces some small vocal samples between the build sections. I'll now switch to the updated version I've been working on. I'll just play this through briefly so you can see what I've come up with so far. So to be honest, I struggled to find a good cinematic sound to start my track off with that matched the key of my track. The reference track kicks off with a huge, deep, bassy synth, reminiscent of Hans Zimmer's work. Instead, I opted for an industrial chime layered against an atmospheric build sample. As mentioned before, I'm not trying to recreate the reference track as such. I'm using it to inspire new ideas and create a unique track of my own. I am though following this structure in the reference track quite closely. I know the top hard techno tracks are structured to be played by DJs and require a 16-bar kick drum sequence that a DJ can beat match and then start playing at a point through on the previous track. So we started off with the atmospheric sounds, which are this one and this one. As we progress, I remove a kick just before bar 9 and drop in the sound effect of a switch, which is followed by another effect sound from Splice of an industrial engine starting up, carrying on building up the tension and anticipation of what's to come. I then repeat this just before bar 13. As you can hear there, I've added a synth stab in the style of hard techno. That was actually just a sample. Then later on I add another synth stab, which is this one, which is using Serum and is a preset from our Techno pack. And then finally I add this vocal sample which plays along from bar 13 and carries on during the build-up of the track. Control. I will then drop out that vocal sample and bring in my 303.